Hey guys, tonight I'm going to be showing you how I prepare my adult Crested Gecko's food. So I've already measured it, put it in the little cup, I've already got their vitamins measured and stuff, so that way that part's already finished. But I will show you different things that I have on hand that I definitely suggest to have on hand if you have Crested Geckos, whether it be 1 or 10 like I have, which of course 2 of them are just babies that are still looking for homes, but the rest of course are my pets. That I have, or of course future breeders. But still, they're still my pets, even if they're future breeders, because I still love them and care for them, and they're my babies, okay? But anyway, this of course is Ember. She's one of the adults that's going to be getting fed tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and close this so she doesn't get annoyed and... Nope, she still jumped. Little fat belly there. Anyway, though, let's head off to the kitchen, and I will show you what you're going to need to get your Crested Geckos fed. Okay guys, so here is the food that I currently use. This is the Pangea Crested Gecko Complete Diet with insects. It's probably the one I'd suggest the most, but they also have the banana and apricot, which is still just as good. I just like this one because it has more protein from the insects. So here we've got the food already measured out. My adult geckos get 1/4 of a teaspoon, which you can see right here. There we go. And they get that every 3 days. So right here we have all their food measured in here with their vitamins. They get this here, which is their multivitamin. They get this every 3rd feeding. So how I do it is, which I have a video explaining it better, so I'm not going to go into detail, but normally I'll give multivitamins 1 feeding. The next feeding I won't give any vitamins, and it's what I call a blank day. And then the 3rd feeding they get calcium, which is a liquid calcium they get, or you can do the powdered calcium. It's whichever you feel comfortable doing. And then of course after that it's a blank day and the multivitamin, and it just goes like that. So this is a little tiny spoon I got off of Etsy. They're little spoon charms, and I do half of one of these, and you can see it's a very tiny amount. There is vitamins in here, but they put the minimum that they have to in here, so that's why I supply my adults with extra. The babies also get extra, which I'll show you my calendar so you guys kind of have an idea of how often I do vitamins and stuff. But anyway, these are stir straws that I got at Walmart. They are way too long though, so I cut, if you can see here, that's about how much I cut off. So maybe 2 inches I cut off of this straw so it's more comfortable for me to hold and mix the food up. So I am going to mix some of the food. I'll try to video it, but we'll see how that works. Okay guys, so I've come down here to your levels so you can see I'm on my knees right now. So anyway, you can see the amount of food that's in here. So I'm going to use my spray bottle, which is, this is the kind that I use. It's just one that I got at a hardware store. So you can use any kind of spray bottle you want. I just like this one. It's really big, it holds a lot of water. So it's kind of hard. So let me see if I can kind of aim it for you a little bit. So I'll stick this here. So I try to put about, when you mix this, you want about same amounts of water to food. And you can always add more water, but you can't take it away. So I would definitely suggest just putting a little bit in there at a time. And I know you can't really see this. Let me see if I can get a better angle. So I'm going to try to balance my phone between 2 coffee cups, so we'll see how well this works. Just to kind of show you the consistency you want to go for. Let me kind of hold it like this. There we go. Normally, of course, it wouldn't be this difficult to mix it, but I'm kind of trying to balance it as much. So you don't want it to be super thick like that, because that is way too thick. Kind of reposition myself here. There we go. I'm going to give it a quick stir to kind of mash that up, because I have to have that in my hand to do that part. Okay, so you can see it's kind of starting to look like this. So it's kind of still thick, as you can see. I don't really like it that thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Because you want it to be not soupy, but you don't want it to be super duper thick. So kind of how it is now looks pretty good, which I'm going to pick it up for a second. Okay, so this is about the consistency I like to have it at. As you can see, it doesn't drip really fast, but if there's enough there, it definitely can lean like it's doing right there. Really nice, creamy, smooth texture. And like I said, you can always add more water if you need to, but you can't take water away. You have to add more powder, so obviously try to not overdo it with the water, because I've done that before and it's a pain in the butt. So anyway, I'm going to mix the rest of these up and then we'll come back. Okay guys, so real quick I'll show you my calendar, so this will kind of give you an idea. This is how I organize and can tell when I'm supposed to feed which geckos. So I have little boxes here that will have the first letter of their name in the boxes. And if you can see, I'll put like little check marks when I have fed them and stuff on that day, and then of course Raja will be like the snake. But anyway, so you can see on days that they're supposed to get vitamins, it'll have the vitamin listed. So tonight the geckos get fed and they get multivitamins, and these are the adults because it's blank. So right here we have Indigo, Whisper, and Bramble, which got fed and I forgot to mark it. And then we have Harmony, Mischief, and Snickers. Those are the 6 babies that are left, which of course I'm keeping 4 of those. And then of course the adults are here. So multi will be there. You can see this one is blank. They go no vitamins there. These 3 days, the 3 different pairs of all of them getting fed get calcium. You can see these 2 here are blank, so they get no vitamins. So just to kind of show you, like one time, well, in this week they'll get multivitamin, then they'll get no vitamins the next feeding time, and then that next time they get calcium. So I'll show you real quick. This is the calcium that I give them. Now, I wouldn't use this if they're babies, because this is what I'd only mix in with like this much food. So if they are getting less than 1/4 of a teaspoon, I would not use this. I would use the powdered calcium because it's a lot safer to get a smaller amount. This stuff, however, I definitely suggest using once they are past that like 1.5 year mark, because they're going to be old enough by then, most of the time anyway. Not all the time. Most of the time they'll be old enough by then to be moved up to this much food. But if not, 1.5 to 2 years old is when you can start using the liquid. Otherwise, I can show you the kind of like powdered calcium. Let me see if I have it down here, that I suggest using. Let me look real quick. Also, real quick, for anyone wanting to know, this is the kind of substrate I use. It's plantation soil. It's a lot finer and not as like husky as the coconut, or not coconut, as the Eco Earth. So this right here is like a really thick block, and then this one's like a really thin compressed one. I don't really know why, but yeah, this is what I use because it's a lot finer. And just in case they were to ingest any of it, it's not going to harm them as bad as I feel like the other would. And if you're ever looking to do any deep cleaning with your tanks, I definitely suggest this stuff. You have to dilute it quite a bit for it to be safe, and you obviously want to wear gloves when you're using it, but it's like veterinary disinfectant, so that stuff's pretty good. And that I got off of Pangea reptile.com. This I just got in Petco, the soil and stuff. So anyway, back to looking for the calcium. Okay guys, so I could not for the life of me find the calcium. I'm sure that I've put it in a storage container of some sort because I don't ever use the powder anymore, and I'm sure I didn't want it to get spilt or misplaced, so I'm sure I stored it somewhere safe. I just don't know where the heck that is, and I'm too tired to even try to think about it. So we've got the food. I like reusing this paper plate to hold the food so I can just sit it down instead of it just going everywhere. I like to always have a paper towel. With Ember and Magma, I never have to worry about them trying to go to the bathroom on me, but Phoenix and Blaze are both really bad about trying to pee and poop on me and all that other fun stuff. So whenever I feed them, I always have them sitting on this paper towel, which you'll get to see, because I will show you a little bit of feeding each one, because I don't know if I've really showed the adults eating a lot lately, but, and pardon my bed because it's unmade, but I absolutely love, I'm sure you've noticed since I've got 3 there and then 2 here, I love these squishy pillows. They're amazing. They make perfect, like, pillows for sleeping at night. I like to have these 2, like, up against my neck whenever I'm sleeping because it's so soft and they're so cushiony and stuff, and it's just really comforting to have all these pillows. Also, these 2 are here because Blossom likes them, so, which right now he's using his cat bed. Can you believe he's going to be 16 next month on the 20th? That's just insane. 16. But anyway, we'll get to the feeding of the geckos. Okay guys, so here is Ember, and she's fired down right now, as most of them are at this time of night. Which, I got to looking in, Blaze and Magma and her all were born in the same year, so they're all going to be 6 years old this year. And then Phoenix, I believe, is going to be 4 or 5. But anyway, I'm going to pick one of these cups here, and what I like to do is whichever one I pick, I'll add a teeny bit of water to, because where they have kind of had a second to sit here and to kind of solidify. So I always add a little bit of water, which I'll show you in a second how much, just to kind of rejuvenate the food. So first I'm going to pick which cup, which we will do this one here. So it's all, of course, the same measurements of food. With Ember, though, of course, she is on a diet currently because she was like 75 or 77 grams last time I weighed her, which I think it's just because, oh wait, well, I guess I'll kind of show you. These, by the way, are 2-ounce cups. They're like, I got like 2,000 of them from Sam's Club, which I'm sure you can go other places too, but so that's about how much water I added. It was like a very small, tiny, minute amount. So I'm going to pause this real quick and mix that in. Okay, so I will show you guys real quick. So these little black pieces here are pieces of insect that were, of course, in the food. Now I've found that these large pieces are kind of hard for my geckos to eat, because sometimes if they go to take a bite, that'll get stuck on their tooth and they start like flinging their head around and stuff. So what I'll do is I'll mix the food, and if I see any of these large chunks in there, I'll just stick them off to the side. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of food on the straw, and then Ember is really good about just licking it off. So she always gets pretty excited, which, yeah, she's already got her tongue out. So I'll go ahead and do this. Ember is like the only one I have that will full on just lick it off the straw immediately, because she's just like, she just loves her food. And I used to just put the bowls up to their faces and let them lick it out, but it's so much easier for me to just use the straw versus the bowl, because I can scoop up all the food and help them get to it a lot quicker, I suppose you could say, and easier than just making them lick it out of the bowl. Which, of course, you can always put their food in the tank, but with me, I find that this is the only time I really ever get to actually get them out and kind of spend time with them, even if it's like, oops, sorry, I don't know if that was off focus the entire time. Even if it's just for like 10 to 15 minutes that I'm feeding them, that's time that I get to, you know, have them out and hold them, because with as busy as work has been lately with all this crap going on, and even before then, just as busy as life has always been, it's nice to have just this time to spend with them and hold them and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to pause this because I need to re-scrape the bowl. Okay, I got a big glob of it on here for her now. That way I don't have to re-scoop it. And if you can see, it's not thick, because see how easy she's licking it, but it's not thin enough to be dripping off of this straw. Which, because where I added that little bit of water, it also helps, like I said, to loosen it up. And I always like to kind of help spin the straw so she can lick that part off of there. But anyway, I won't show you the rest because there's not a lot of food left in her dish. As you can see, there's about that much. And then we'll move on to the next gecko, which is probably going to be Blaze, because I can see her looking at me from her tank. So as you can see, this is Blaze. She absolutely loves this teapot, which I wanted to show you her sitting in there before I took her out because it's so cute. But this is a teapot that I got at a place called Joanne's Crafts and Fabrics, but I'm sure that you probably could easily get on Amazon and look and see. It's a ceramic teapot. There we go. Set her there. Ember also has one, as you can see. Hers is like white with blue and different green abstract squares, as were hers, Ember's. Blaze's has little cacti and succulents and stuff on it. We'll set that there. But anyway, let me get the paper towel over here. Get Ember, or not Ember, sorry, get Blaze over here so we can show her off. So this, of course, is Blaze. Oop, no, come back over here, sweetie. So I'm going to get her food ready, but I just figured I'd show her to you. So this is what she looks like. She is a tricolor, as where Ember was a harlequin. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So Ember's a regular harlequin. She kind of has brindle patterning when she fires down, but it does not really count into her morph, just because when she fires up, that's the pattern that's supposed to determine what she is. And when she fires up, the brindle doesn't show up, so she's just a regular harlequin. But Blaze here is a tricolor with pinned, Blaze here is a tricolor with 90% pin striping, because it breaks down here, like this entire area is not attached, and then it breaks right here as well, and then right here you can see as well. So, but anyway, I'll go ahead and get her food picked out and we'll get to feeding her. So I got her food down here, and it's ready. We'll see if she'll lick it off today, because sometimes I have to put a little bit on her nose, but oh, she licked it, so we'll see. But yeah, what's nice, of course, with the adults is they're more laid back, of course, than babies, and they are just kind of, you know, chill. They do everything at their own pace kind of thing. But when it comes to food, they normally don't dilly-dally. It's kind of funny. Because the babies, they could care less. I get the babies out, and they're just kind of like, I'm going to eat, but I'm going to eat really slow. And for those of you who don't know, Blaze actually came from Pangea, and the funny thing was that she was actually sold to me as a male gecko, and which obviously did not turn out to be the case. But it was interesting because I'm pretty sure she was at least 1.5 years. So I'm kind of surprised that they thought that she was a female, which I'll have to go back and look at my records and see, but I swear that she was at least 1 year, if not older. And most of the time by 1 year, normally at about 8 months to 1 year old, male geckos start to show that they are male, which I know that because obviously with my babies and stuff. Please stay over here, sweetie. So anyway, seriously. No, don't freak out. Sit still. That's like the one battle you'll always have with geckos is they don't ever want to sit still. With Ember, she was just like, boom, there's food. But with Blaze, sometimes she'll lick the food off the straw, and then sometimes I have to put a little bit on her snout and her lip area, and then she will eat it off, as you can see what she's doing here. But, yeah, so she was sold to me as a male, which I thought was kind of comical, which I was hoping she was a male, but she obviously turned out to be a girl. But yeah, which I guess worked out for me in the end because female geckos that were tricoloreds were going for twice as much as what I paid for Blaze. So, and of course Blaze, like I said, was young, so it's not like she was full grown, so, but yeah. So anyway, this is Blaze. She's eating really slow right now, so I'm probably not going to show much more of her eating just because I'm having to put some of it on her nose, well, her snout, I should say, and her lips. So, but anyway, at least you got to see her a little bit. She's just kind of being a slow turd. Okay guys, so this here's Magma. He is my only adult male crested gecko. And if you have a male crested gecko, I'm just going to warn you guys right now, around this time of year, so around between February and I want to say April/May, in those few months in there, be prepared that your male gecko may become like extremely like horny and stuff, especially if they've been with ladies. He's not acting like it right now, but last night, or not last night, but the last time that the adults got fed, which was 3 days ago, he could smell the females on me, and he was like biting my hand, not aggressively, but like just, you know, in the mating type sense, which he's not doing it now, so I just guess I don't smell as much like a female gecko today. But he was acting very not aggressive, but he just wants to mate and stuff, and it's just not happening for him anymore. He is a retired breeder, so he's not going to be getting any more lady friends. But of course, the fact that all of the geckos are in the room, I'm sure they can smell each other, or at least for some part they probably can smell each other a little bit. But yeah, other than that, he is super laid back the rest of the year. He's probably my most laid back gecko, aside from Ember. So I'll go ahead and sit him there. He is my blonde harlequin, and he has pin dashing, and that's when there's a decent amount of pinning, but it's not connected. So, or you could say even 40% pinstriping, I guess you want to say, but I don't even mess with it, so I just say pin dashing. And then of course he has this floppy crest. It's so fluffy. So, but anyway, whoops, kind of smacked him there a little bit. Not smacked, but I just kind of rubbed against him. We'll get some of his food out here. Whoops, I just dripped some on the bed on accident. So with him, most of the time I always have to put some on his face to get him to kind of lick it, because he is stubborn. It's funny because he doesn't like texture at all. Like, he barely eats insects to begin with. And if he has any sort of texture in his food, he will not eat it. It's funny. He'll like get it to the side of his face and he'll rub it on the paper towel. So he's pretty comical. But Magma was originally produced by Apollo's geckos. He was out of sea and lava. And lava came from Pangea, but I'm not really sure if sea was produced by Apollo's geckos as well, or where he came from, because there was no information. And I tried asking in the past, but no one messaged me back, so I kind of gave up. But Magma was with, I believe, 6 to 7 different owners in his entire life, and he's only going to be 6 this year. So I am, of course, his final home that he's going to be with, because I'm never going to get rid of him. And he, of course, came from tip of Texas Geckos before I acquired him. So she had him, and then I got him from her. So, I believe her name is Maria over at Tip O Texas Geckos, which you can find her on Facebook, and she also has a website. She's like super sweet. I absolutely love getting to see her projects she's working on. She's really nice to work with. She's a very nice person, and she's very knowledgeable as well. So, if anyone's ever looking for a pet in the future, gecko, or even a breeder, I always like looking and seeing what she has available. But anyway, I'm going to kind of feed him off camera the rest of the time because he's kind of not eating super slow, but he's kind of still eating slow. But yeah. So anyway, that is Magma. Okay guys, so this here is my last adult gecko getting fed tonight. This here is Phoenix. She is my frog butt. She used to be my only frog butt. She is the only one I've ever purchased without a tail. Snickers is, of course, my other frog butt, just mainly because she's the only gecko I've actually experienced having a tail drop with, and it was just completely bizarre. Like, it just made no sense exactly why she dropped it, because it was just, like, all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I've already made a video about that in the past, so if you want to watch the video, it's in the Crested Gecko playlist I have. Either way, she's getting all scared now because she sees, Blossom stretching over here. Nope, go lay down. You were behaving in your cat bed, now go lay down. Anyway, she's the one that takes the most time. What did I just say? Go lay down. Yeah. Oh, he must have got a little bit of water on his nose. It's like, this is a mist setting, but I've gotten to where every time when he walks over here, if he does not go away, I just mist him in the face. Or on his side, whichever, ends up getting sprayed. It's not like it's going to hurt him because it's literally just purified water in a misting bottle. But yeah, because with Phoenix, she gets nervous when he's around, so I normally don't let him get anywhere close to her. And of course, it's not like he's going to bother them, but still, if she doesn't feel comfortable, then I make him move. But it's kind of comical how many people think that I literally let my cat do whatever the heck he wants around my geckos. It's like, there's a lot of things you guys don't get to see on camera, but, he is constantly getting in trouble or getting moved from one part of the bed to the other, or just pushed onto the floor because of making the geckos nervous, and people think that I just let my cat literally sit right there the entire time and smack them and whatever. It's just like, no. My cat is not allowed to touch the geckos. If he gets anywhere close to trying to touch them or acts interested, then he gets moved. So it's like, he's not purposely being allowed to harm the geckos, because obviously there's not even allowed. Not even thinking about it. So, but yeah. Anyway, Phoenix, like I said, more towards the first of the video, she's going to be, I think, 4 or 5 this year. I'll have to look and see. 4 or 5 years that I've owned her anyway. I think she was about a year when I purchased her, so she's probably, if I'm remembering correctly, she's probably going to be 5. So, because I swear I remember in the past thinking that she was a year younger than the others. So it looks like she's acting interested in actually licking the straw. Occasionally she's not. So we'll see if she'll just lick the straw this time. Maybe. She's always finicky. One thing I noticed, though, I don't know how her last owner was, but she never was actually trained to eat out of a bowl. Like, I would legit put food in the bowl in there, and she would not eat out of a bowl, but the moment I offered a straw to her with the food on it, she'd eat it. So, I don't know, she's just weird. But either way, I've taken on the task of hand feeding all my geckos just because, like I said earlier, it allows me to spend time with them. And, just because where I don't normally get them out very much. It used to be that I got them out a lot throughout the week when I only had 4 adults. But obviously where I have 10 geckos now, it's kind of difficult to get them all out. Now, of course, with the babies, more than the adults, because obviously the babies I still have to keep them somewhat tamed until they get older. So I still am working with them in some areas, which obviously they're pretty tame compared to some geckos I've seen, because I'll watch videos, not so much on YouTube, but on Facebook, and the geckos will be really jumpy, and I'm just like, I'm glad mine aren't like that. Or I'll see geckos at reptile shows, for instance, and they're so jumpy, and I'm just thinking, did these people who raise these geckos literally never handle them, like, ever? So, but it also helps too if you get them young and you can handle them daily, like, depending on the age, between like 5 to 30 minutes, depending on how old they are. If they're pretty young, I normally would keep it like 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, it's nice when you can start them out young and handle them and work with them then, versus starting out with a really finicky adult, because it's just going to take so much longer for them to grow accustomed to you and stuff. But yeah, so at least Phoenix is not eating really slow compared to like the other adults. She actually is eating food. And of course, Phoenix is my only adult gecko that is a pet only. I mainly purchased just because the person, I'm sure if you've been on this channel for a while, you know, the person had to move. She couldn't take her reptiles with her to the new apartment she was renting, so that's where I got Phoenix. So yeah, the lady was in Texas, but Phoenix herself came from Europe. So she's from overseas. But, and of course I have her information and stuff, but it's not really that important to discuss, being that she's never going to be used for breeding. Just because where she is such a tiny bodied gecko, I would never feel comfortable breeding her and thinking that it's okay just because of how small she is, and the risks that are involved with a smaller bodied gecko, because she never hardly ever gets over 45 grams. So, but anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly boring. Hopefully you got to enjoy seeing the adult geckos and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I am exhausted, so I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of this little bit, and I will see you guys later. Oh, this is like a bad ending, but who cares? It's staying in here.